Hello, everybody. This is Charlotte Bergmann. You have joined us today for one of the best shows of this year. We have two dynamic individuals that are joining us. We have the two Republican representatives who will be our next sheriff if you make it happen. And we're depending on you to make it happen. We have Brad Les, sheriff, deputy sheriff, and we have Marco Issachar. And I hope I didn't clobber his name. He will correct me when he comes on. So, right now, we're going to get started with Marco in the background. But before we get started, I want to kind of let you guys know I want to thank you for joining Political Talk of Charlotte today. Please, please leave a comment, an emoji, or just a like, because when you do that, that helps our interaction with people. More people see our videos, and more people need to be aware of who they will be voting for the next sheriff of Shelby County. So thank you for joining Political Talk of Charlotte this week. As I said, I'm your host. You know what? I'm a conservative voice for Christian and constitutional values. And in today's video, among other things, we are going to talk to those dynamic candidates who are running for the Republican sheriff in the midterm. Guys, we have 4 more days before April the 6th. That's the last day that you can register to vote in the county primary election. What I want you to do is I want you to go to electshelbytn.gov, register to vote. And if you have not registered, get it done today. Our show airs every Thursday at noon. And in the call notes, you shall see different ways you can contact me just in case you have questions. If you want to interact with our guests, you can do that by contacting me or contact them directly. They will let you know how you can reach them. If you're new to the channel, definitely leave a comment and or subscribe to my channel. We are airing live in multiple locations: Twitter, YouTube, Rumble. Yeah, we are there, guys. I want you to know how much I truly love you, how much I appreciate you. I do need those comments, and I do need you to share my videos. And if you want to get one of these gentlemen elected, you will share my video and let others decide who they want to vote for. We need constitutional sheriffs in Shelby County. So help me break the shadow banning by sharing the video. And don't forget my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America. So sit back, get your popcorn, and enjoy the show. Now, how many of you know what a constitutional sheriff does? I'll tell you what, we do need them. We have not had a constitutional sheriff in Shelby County. That's part of the reasons why we're in the trouble that we're in. A constitutional sheriff asserts that they are the supreme legal authority with the power and the duty to defy or disregard laws that they regard as unconstitutional. That's right. They have the power in this community. If a mayor tells them to do something unconstitutional, they have the power to not do that. And I wanted to stress that during COVID, I was really nervous. I'm telling you, I was really nervous because I would see videos and they would show how people would go knock on the doors and say, "Have you been vaccinated yet?" And if you weren't, they would force you out of their house. Well, everybody know I'm a renegade. I didn't get vaccinated. Okay. I'm healthy. I'm good. But these sovereign sheriffs will prevent unconstitutional laws, and they will protect our Constitution. I'm excited about that. Now, our first guest is Marco Issachar. Marco, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining us. Ronnie's from Arkansas, and she says, "Good afternoon. You met her at my event. She's an elected official in Arkansas, And Ronnie agrees with what I said, and I appreciate that, Ronnie. Thank you so much. Now, let me tell you something about this great gentleman that we have before us today, Marco. He joined the Army in 1993. I'm still in his comments. Cindy says, "Hi, Marco."
Hello, Cindy.
Okay. He joined the Army in 1993. He deployed to Kuwait for Operation Intrinsic Action and Haiti for Operation Uphold Democracy. He's he's a U.S. Army veteran. Hoo-ha! Infantry Division deployed overseas twice, man. I'm looking at some of those videos and I'm seeing these guys being deployed on these what B-52s, and I am speechless. 28 he spent has spent 28 years in law enforcement. He's a former Memphis police officer and he is currently with the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. Patrick, thank you for joining us. Woo, you're drawing a lot of people watching you today. Uh, he um, he's been involved in a lot of interesting stuff. And he says, according to his bio, and we want to elaborate on that, he says he's with the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. Whoa, you can't get any better than that. Marco, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I am doing well, Charlotte. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I am delighted to be here.
We are too. And we have Brad waiting in the backstage, and he's going to come on later. But it is an honor for me to interview these great gentlemen, both of them. You know, when we see them in the stores, we want to go up to them and say, "Hey, can I buy you lunch?" Or we look at their uniforms and we get intimidated. But here we are able to talk with them, and I want you
Yeah.
guys to show them the respect they deserve. And I want you guys to give them the support that they deserve. They are Republicans. They will uphold our Constitution. That's what we need, guys. Marco, I'm turning it over to you. What do you have to
Well,
say?
thank you. Thank you, Charlotte, for and thank you for running yourself as in the ninth district of Memphis. You know, is so well needed. Somebody like you, a Republican who understands the rule of law and understand what is it that is needed to control that district. So, who else better qualified than yourself, Charlotte? I am amazed, and I'm a big supporter of yourself. So,
Thank
together,
you. Thank
we're
you.
gonna we're gonna make this happen. So, well, thank you. Number two, I just want to tell you that is my background, and I spent at the FBI task force, the Safe Street Task Force here in Memphis. I
Wow.
spent 12 years from my career investigating drug cartels in Memphis. I investigated and dismantled these organizations from its root. That's when you create a big impact in crime.
So you're saying this Memphis Safe Street Task Force is nothing new? It's just an
Yes.
expansion of the organization that you were involved in?
So, in the Safe Street Task Force is an assigned group in Memphis. They've been here for many years, and this Safe Street Task Force has come to help with the rise of violent crimes in Memphis and Shelby County that started in September. So the president, with the help of Senator Brent Taylor, Marsha Blackburn, they got together and they presented this, to the president. We need help because crime was just out of control. And I can tell you, Charlotte, there were about over 300 homicides back then until the Safe Task Force got put together and came here to this Mid South and helped us out to get this under control.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. I have three questions I want to ask both
Sure.
you and Brad.
Yeah.
First, I want to say, as a constitutional sheriff, and we're going to claim that title for both you and Brad and let the people decide who will actually hold that title. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
Well, the Second Amendment is you're right. You know, you got the right to bear arms to protect yourself, your family, and others. It clearly states, you know, that is your right. There are certain places that, like some, or that they says that don't, no firearms allowed. You know, such things like that. But that is your right. That is your right. That is the Constitution. That is your right to 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 protect yourself.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
So, do you support the gun confiscation that is occurring in Memphis? And maybe people get like a little $25 card for turning in their guns?
Uh, can you explain that to me?
Well, a few years ago, there was this project that was started, and I think Sheriff Bonner probably supported it, whereby if people turn in their guns, they will get something in return. I just saw that as gun confiscation. How do you view that?
Well, a lot of people, Charlotte, even until today, currently I work in the patrol division when right now. So I'm the supervisor. I am boots on the ground. So I see all this in and outs on a daily basis in the field. Currently, we get, surprisingly, Charlotte, we get a lot of calls from people, from citizens, that they called us and said, "Sir, would you please?" The place when dispatcher sent us, and they said that the person called, they want to surrender their weapons. They want to surrender. They just don't want to. They just don't want to own anymore. So we go to their houses, they sign the document, and they give us those weapons, and we put it in the property room. So there's some people that they're just not comfortable with it. And as far as I remember years ago, Charlotte, there was some kind of amnesty they did in Memphis when I was working in Memphis department. They did some weapons, and they had a big tent. And I remember that it was said, this is some kind of amnesty. We're not going to ask you any questions. We just want you to surrender your weapons. Or if you have a weapon, bring it here. You come to the tent, drop it off in this big barrel, then you're going to leave. Nobody's going to ask any questions. Well, that's kind of dangerous, because you need to know, was that weapon involved in some kind of crime, go from there.
Okay.
So
Very
that happened years ago. Years ago, I remember, because I started working at the Memphis Police Department, Charlotte, in 1997, and I left Memphis in '05. I believe it was
okay.
1999 or 2000. But anyway, so they did that. I anything like that.
Okay.
But I mean, that is your right as a citizen, you can just buy whatever weapon you have. Of course, there are some restrictions. You can modify. But I think we need to people that that they want to surrender the weapons, they can.
Well, and I don't have a problem if someone wants to surrender their weapon. I just have a problem if government decides to come out and probably provide some type of incentive for people to give up their weapons. But let's move on to my next question.
Sure.
What do you think is the number one thing that needs to change at the sheriff's department, and how would you change it?
Yeah, Charlotte, right now, the morale is so low, for one. The morale is so low in the sheriff's office. You get deputies within 1 year or two, Charlotte, they just leave. They leave. The morale is so low. Nobody wants to come to work. We're down about maybe over 100 deputies, 100, 110. So we need more deputies in the field. The big thing that people don't want to join is because we don't have medical retirement. Injured in the line of duty, we don't have coverage after 1 year. So they cut us out. So there's no, so you're doing this job where you're risking your life, Charlotte, every single day. And if you get injured, so they're going to cut you loose. So that's one of the things that it has to change. The pay is, we need to be more competitive. So when all those things come in play, Charlotte, it's just terrible. We have to change the culture. We must change the culture that we have. Any deputy that you see, just I encourage you, just talk to them and ask them, and they'll tell you it's just different areas in the department that need to change.
Okay.
And leadership needs to be just modified. They need to
Okay.
change.
All right. I hope you guys understood that there is a morale issue, there is a pay issue, and this gentleman is going to work on it.
Yeah.
Last
Yes.
question. What laws were broken this past weekend when the police responded to the Memphis No Kings protest? Apparently, the police were put on leave. Please tell me from your observation, and I know this is not official.
Right.
What do you think the police did wrong that they were put on leave?
From my observation, when I saw the video and I saw the permit that they requested, the police did nothing wrong.
Thank you.
Police did nothing wrong. They were obstructing the highway, the road, and it says clearly you just can't do that. So I'll give you one, Charlotte. There were 20 people federally charged for impeding. That is called impeding under the federal until the Safe Task Force. So I'm a firm believer. If you're breaking the law, which they did, the protesters, they should get these people and charge them federally. So they got 20 already that were charged. So the police officer did not do anything wrong. So for them to be suspended, for them to be put out, on leave, relief to duty, I think is wrong.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma- Marco, I want to thank you for joining me today. What is it that you would like to share with my audience that you want them to know specifically about you so that they will have the confidence that you would be the best sheriff?
First of all, I just want to let the public know that I am a person that I follow the rule of law. The laws will be enforced, and I am the kind of sheriff that's going to be law and order, enforcing the laws, and I'm not going to allow criminals to dictate how we live our lives. I'm not going to allow that. I promise you. The only way to do that is with your help. So I need your vote on May the 5th, 2026, and you can vote earlier, 2 weeks prior to, on the early voting from April 15th to April the 30th. Mark up for sheriff, or look me up on markupforsheriff.com, and I'm humbly asking for your vote. So myself and Charlotte Bergmann, we will save Memphis.
Wendy. Wendy says, "Hi, Charlotte and Marco. Vote Marco."
Thank you, Wendy.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Remember, we have Brad here, and
Yes,
both of these guys are top notch. I am so proud to be able to interact with them, meet them. And Marco has a wife that really makes
yes.
him look good.
Yeah, my wife has helped me, Charlotte, so much tremendously in this campaign. She's been so much support. You met her, and she is in now. From this point on, I can get it off now. She's like, "Let's go to the meeting. Let's go to see Charlotte. Let's go to Charlotte." She's on fire now, like me.
She is on fire. And I've got to get with you because you use a lot of AI to help you campaign, and I've got to find out how you use it. So thank you, Marco.
Yes,
Uh,
ma'am.
Tell them your website again in terms of how they can get in contact with you, as well as your email address.
Yes, please look.
Oh, I hope we didn't lose Marco. He froze up. So that timing is perfect. Marco, I want to thank you for joining us. Sorry we lost you, but we do appreciate you. We appreciate your service. We appreciate you. Oh, he's back. Marco is back. Let's see what he has to say closing out. Okay, Marco.
Okay, well, on this May 2026, please look me up, markupforsheriff.com, and I'm asking for your vote May the 5th. And if you want to vote earlier, 2 weeks prior to it, April 15th to April the 30th. And with me and you, Charlotte, we are going to save Memphis.
Amen to that. Do you have any events coming up whereby people can come out and meet you face to face if they wanted to?
Yes, I will be at the BFW in Millington. BFW in Millington this Saturday. Myself and Brad will be there from 2 to 4, but come earlier. And I'm going to have a list of events coming up. I'm going to post it. We can go and drink coffee and talk and get our picture taken with the Marco Mobile too. If you've seen the Marco Mobile around, please take a picture and send it to me. It's a forerunner. It's wrapped everywhere, and it's got all my stuff in there.
You should have sent me a picture of that Marco mobile because I saw it and I went, whoa, that is so cool. But thank you
Yeah.
for joining us, Marco, and God bless you. And thank you for your
Mm.
service to our nation and to this community.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the invitation, Charlotte.
Bye bye now.
Bye.
Okay, guys, that was Marco. And now we're bringing on Deputy Brad Less.
How
Jonathan
you doing,
Brad
Charlotte?
Less.
How are
I'm
you?
well. I'm well. Good to see you. I think we have some more comments here. Wendy says, "Hi." I don't know if you remember Wendy.
I don't see the comment, so I don't know the name.
Oh, really? Okay. Wendy Schaffner says, "Hi." She's praying for you,
Thank you.
and I tell you, people are excited about you guys. I love that.
That's
So
awesome.
let me tell you guys a little bit about Brad. Brad with his police voice. He shared that his police voice with us the other night at one of our East Shelby Republican meeting. And as I shared earlier when Marco was coming on, and you probably heard it, we're looking for constitutional sheriffs. We're looking for sheriffs who understand that they have the Constitution behind them. And if somebody tells them to do something unconstitutional, you guys have the legal authority and the power and the duty to defy or disregard any commands and laws that are unconstitutional. So, let me tell you about Brad. He may look young, but he's had 30 years of law enforcement experience. In addition to that, he's had 12 years of military as well as special agent with leadership experience. He's a proven leader in operations, command and control, budgeting. Wow. And he's just a guy that is running for office. And I tell you, I really respect both of these guys. I am so excited that we have strong Republicans that are running. He has a lot of law enforcement experience at the local, at the state, and the federal levels. So, therefore, when he is elected and they have a shortage of money, he know who's to reach out to at the state level and at the federal level. And if I'm blessed to be your federal representative, I will be working really closely with him to make sure that we have the things that we need here in the Memphis area and Shelby County area to cut down, reduce, eliminate crime
Corruption.
and corruption. Thank you, Brad. Take it away. What do you have to
All
share
right,
with my audience?
Charlotte. Thank you for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. I do want to let you know. So my history with the sheriff's office in 1995. I started as a PST with a police service technician. It was the college level that I put myself through. I got hired on my own. No break-in service. Switched over in 1997 to the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, and I'm currently a lieutenant over the Detective Division, Personal Crimes and Property Crimes, and Jail Unit. Now, throughout my career, I've worked a couple of task force jobs with the United States Secret Service and the District Attorney General's Office of Public Corruption and Economic Crimes.
Wow.
Now, moving on to that, these are complex operations. We're taking people to federal court, trying to put people away that are committing crimes against Shelby County and our citizens. I'm also a special agent with the United States Coast Guard. I currently serve there now as well. So, wearing many hats, and on top of that, a business owner as well. So, understanding budgeting and understanding the need for having leadership in a role that will focus on making good decisions, operating as a good steward of tax dollars. It's important to have a leader, and look, you don't have to be at the top of the department to be a good leader. So I think I fit that role. I meet all the requirements. I'm above and beyond the requirements, and I think the experience that I have will bring Shelby County to a higher level.
Wow, thank you. I have three questions for you,
Sure.
Brian, as I did with Marco. The first one is, what do you think is the number one thing that needs to change at the sheriff's office, and how would you go about changing it?
So, Charlotte, there's several things that need to be changed, not just one. And I don't think that there's one that's more top priority than the other. But if I put them in a line, I agree with Marco that morale is a problem. The simplest things to do is you have to change policies, procedures, and standard operating procedures in order to get the sheriff's office to a level that it needs to be. Right now, we're losing officers. We're not being able to retain them. It's if people don't like what they're doing, they're going to leave a job. But these people love what they're doing. They just don't like the leadership that they have at the executive level.
Oh,
Good people don't leave good jobs. We've got to get our benefits right. We have to get a medical retirement. We've had officers injured recently on motorcycles. We've had officers that were injured doing their line in the line of duty. And I just think that these people have given their lives to this county, and to have some of the treatment that they're getting is just not, it's subpar. So I think the number one is your people. You have to get your people in place and retain them, train them, and you got to recruit. You got to recruit the top. We should be going after every law enforcement officer in the country to come here to Memphis and work, because we are top notch here.
thank you. Um, Brian, I hear what you are saying. I heard what Marco said. Paying officers what they deserve and improving the morale, which has to do with their benefits and things of that nature,
Right.
starts with the fact that the department needs more money. And we've got, this is for me, so I'm going to say this. In order for you guys to get more money, you got to go after the source. And the source is from the federal government. And you've got to have somebody who works in the sheriff department who is able to reach out to their liaison, their representatives at the Senate and at the congressional levels to make sure you guys have the money that is needed in order to make sure these guys are willing and able to do their jobs. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Funding is important. It is
Yes.
important.
And you got to know where to get the funding from. I mean,
Yes.
everybody understands funding is important, but we've got in the ninth congressional district specifically, we've got somebody that brings back pennies on the dollar, and he has his pet projects. But you guys are hurting, you guys are bleeding, and you guys impact the people in the community in terms of
Yes.
safety and goodwill. So, where do you stand on the Second Amendment? And as I asked Marco, and maybe I didn't say it as succinctly as I'm going to try to say it now, in the past, in Memphis, which is a blue city, we've had leadership at the sheriff level, at the mayor level, that have um, tried to incentivize people to give up their guns. And yes, some people do it voluntarily, but there are some people who have been threatened that their guns will be taken away from them. Where do you stand on the Second Amendment?
So, Charlotte, I support the Second Amendment 100%. I'm a 2A. I carry my weapon everywhere I go. We're in a dangerous city. You have the right to protect yourself as an individual. Now,
Thank you.
there's a few things in place that we have to consider. You have to consider mental health and what kind of issues come with owning a firearm if you are a mental health consumer and not receiving current health care or up to date health care. The other thing would be if you're a convicted felon. Now, those are federal laws, and in the Second Amendment, it does clearly state that it is not solely exclusive to everybody. There are some things that take place that that are in place, such as convicted felon in possession of a handgun. You cannot possess a firearm if you're a convicted felon. So it does state that in the Second Amendment.
I have not read that part. But anyway, I'll go back and look, but I hadn't read that part. But here's
If
what
you look under, uh, if you look under section for the right of individuals, the limitations from the Supreme Court have noted that on those limitations, there's bans
okay,
for felons, mentally ill, restrictions. That's
okay,
where I'm going with that.
okay, because that is different from the
Well,
original
yeah, yeah,
intent of the Constitution.
right,
Okay,
right. But
the
we have to put those in place because we have people that have committed crimes against schools and everything else where those red flags, I mean, they're out there and you have to be careful with those.
and what I'm
It's a
concerned
touchy.
about, and what I'm concerned about is this: there's in a blue district, there are so many people, mayor, people in leadership that would love to take the gun because they think that the gun is the enemy. And so
Yeah,
the criminal will get the gun, but then there is a desire to put in place laws to take the gun from the law about it, abiding citizen. And so
right,
that's what I'm concerned about. My
right.
last question: what laws were broken last weekend when the police responded to the Memphis No Kings protest that was held? What laws were
Yeah.
broken?
Well, as
I
far as
don't
the police
understand.
department, as far as the police department's concerned, no laws were broken.
Thank you.
As far as the public's concerned, you got disorderly conduct, you have obstruction of a highway passageway, you have resisting arrest, and you also have the fact that they didn't pull a permit to even block the road and being, a permit would be an ordinance violation, but still, you don't have that. It was not pulled for that reason. So the police have an obligation to the other citizens to open that highway, clear the roadway, and allow you to move freely. So I don't agree with their knee jerk reaction to put people off work, and whether they suspended them with pay or without pay pending an investigation. It's on video. What It
This
was
is
public.
so crazy to me. That's why we
Yeah.
need Republican sheriffs,
Yes.
Republican county mayor,
Yes.
Republican congressman. That's
Yes.
why we need people like that, because they're looking out for the criminal. You're going to be looking out for the average citizen and
Yes.
protect their rights. What do you have to share with my audience, Brad, that you want to help lead them to, well, have them to remember about you? About you. Jeez,
Well,
thank you.
so you'll see me riding around on weekends. I have a landscape business as well, so you'll see my trucks out with my signs on the trailers. But one thing that I want to put out there is we have to have somebody with experience at a level that is going to lead Shelby County Sheriff's Office to where it needs to be. And some of the things that are free, that don't cost a dime, are changing policies, procedures, standard operating procedures, SOPs, making us good stewards of your tax dollars, and putting the crime fighters on the streets and really making an impact. Because look, we have a second chance here. This is a second chance by the Memphis Safe Task Force, but eventually this is going to fade away. Deployments have an end date. We know this. I'm in the military. Deployments don't last forever. So we have to look forward past this Memphis Safe Task Force to see, well, first, we wouldn't be in this position if the sheriff's office and executive leadership and law enforcement were doing their jobs to begin with. This has
Agree.
faded in the past. So it's time for Republican leadership to step up, fill these gaps, bring the department to the level it needs to be, where you have a mayor, a sheriff, everybody working together, not taking the budget. I mean, they use the sheriff's office budget as a savings account to pull away. That's not what it's there for. Our budget is what we need to have operating to make you safe. If you pull money from us, you're defunding the police, and that's what we've had happen. So it's not defund the police; it's fund your safety and security for a better Shelby County.
And
So
I'm going to say,
remember.
And I'm going to say this: we've got to hold our elected officials accountable
Yes.
at the federal and state level. And our budget, our budget is primarily financed by, say, people's when they pay their taxes for their
Oh,
home, their
it's
mortgages.
yeah.
We need additional funds from the federal level and from the state level in order to provide you guys with the service that you need to service the people in the community.
Well, Charlotte, thank you for having me again. Brad Less for Sheriff. I've got a website, Facebook page. Get out there, like, follow, and share. We'll be at many events throughout the remainder of the election. Again, 15th through 30th of April is early voting, and May 5th is the election. So, the support that I'm getting is wonderful. I'm loving it. It's been a new experience for me because I never expected to be in politics. I am a street cop. I know what law enforcement is. That's all I've ever been. I never have an I just don't have any idea to want to be a politician. I want to save Shelby County and put our officers in a position that they can work and have the support and leadership that they deserve to make Shelby County a safe and secure place. So, Brad Less for Sheriff. Remember, less is more all day long.
I love that. And guys, keep in mind these two guys, when one of these guys will go on to the general election in August. So get to know them. Brad, where can people find you? Do you have any events coming up?
Yeah, like Marco said, the VFW this weekend between 2 and 4. We've got other VFW events. They're all hours of the day. I've got one coming up that's early morning, so you can catch us before you head into work. I'll be on the streets knocking on doors. I've been in neighborhoods. I'm out in grocery stores. I'm in the parking lot. Look for this lime green shirt with the Less logo. You'll see me. I'm high vis. I want to be high visibility to you. I'm not going to hide from you. I'm out here in the public. You're going to see the shirt. You can't miss me.
And I just wonder, when do you guys sleep? I mean, you guys are taking this extremely seriously. And the schedule that you just described, when do you sleep? Like
Well,
President Trump.
it's called self care. You got to self care. Law enforcement, you know, police officers and firefighters, EMTs see hundreds of catastrophic events through their lifetime. So self care is very important. And most citizens only see between 1 and 5 high stress events in their life, such as a robbery or a mass car crash or something like that. So, again, it's training, it's understanding how my body works, how much sleep that I need to function and to be sharp. And I've mastered that. So I don't have that kind of problem to have to worry about sleep. I get plenty of it. And you sleep when you can, you eat when you can, and keep on rocking.
See what we've got to choose from, guys? Let's get one of these guys elected. And let's have one of our Republican candidates oppose the Democrat candidate, and may the best Republican win.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us, guys. I appreciate you, Marco. I appreciate you, Brad. You guys, thank you all for your service because it is not easy out here. All right, you guys, you heard them. You got choices. Choose between Marco or Brad for sheriff and make Shelby County safe again. Because I'm sure that both of these guys are going to work with the Memphis Safe Task Force. Oh, that was the other thing. Brad, if you aren't gone, I have a quick question to
Still here?
ask.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Brad, people are judging the Memphis Safe Task Force and they're saying, well, there are still crimes. But as I remember, prior to the Memphis Safe Task Force coming to Memphis, there would be innocent people whose lives would be affected, who would be murdered on the streets. There were cars that were ramming into businesses. Crime was out of control. Now we're experiencing crime associated with personal grievances between one person or another. That can never be totally eradicated. How do you differentiate between what is happening now, since the task force is here, versus what was happening before the task force came on the scene?
Well, Charlotte, we got to start with education. And we're dealing with people who would rather pick up a gun and instead of picking up fists and fighting like it used to be. In the days where I grew up, you have people that had a disagreement and they fought it out, hugged it out, and moved on. So now we're getting to the point where firearms, they're readily available. They're picking these firearms up and it's taking it to the street fight over, some of the smallest things. A lot of it's domestic violence that's related, and it really boils down to education, and it boils down to getting in the neighborhoods. I've talked to people who've said that they haven't seen the sheriff or the chief deputy or police officers in their neighborhood stopping and talking to them. They'd rather just drive by. We need to get more involved with our community, and we need to be available to them to help
Thank you.
change this
Thank you.
to a more uh, less violent community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you answering that question. God bless you. You guys made my show.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having
Bye
me.
bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, guys, that's it. Reach out to these guys, attend some of their events, get to know them. It's your responsibility. They cannot elect themselves. You've got to